Thanks for everybody for coming out. Appreciate everybody's support. Obviously, I started the Vegas Programmers Meetup because there was nothing like this. Over 10 years ago, when I was a software developer, I would have loved to have a community like this where you can share ideas, learn from other people, and not have to pay for it, right? Best part. So I appreciate everybody that came out today. Shout out to Ryan on the tech side of things for getting these up on YouTube. Also, the Vegas Theater Company. If you ever want to check out plays or improv, this place is awesome. So we appreciate them hosting us. As well as Joshua Levitt, who put together Tech Alley right out of the pandemic. You know, we were doing virtual meetups and it just wasn't the same, right? So I'm so glad that now we are get back together again and we can start this back up. So Joshua reached out and was like, hey, you know, demo time would be a great idea for entrepreneurs, people just working on a pet project, pretty much just any sort of thing you're working on that you would love to share, whether it's a business idea or just something neat. This is what this format's for. So we have typically 3 startups or pet projects that demo here, and we've got some pretty cool lineup here. So
a slight update to the
yeah,
lineup.
Sure. Yeah. I should have been using this. Hello? Hello? Okay.
Oh.
Here, let me just go for it. Go.
I didn't need to be any louder, but here we go. Quick update for our lineup. I know the meetup said something different, but we're actually going to start with a startup that is so early stage that he just reached out to me and said, can I maybe go last because our code broke? Who can relate?
I can.
We're going to have him go first so he has more time to work on it. He's going to show his project, and then if he gets the code up by the end, we'll have him go again. So please be supportive. That's how early stage it is today. After that, we're going to have one of our community favorites, someone with so much traction, an amazing product, Elias, who we all know and love. He's going to go second. And then to close it out, we actually have 2 students who are going to be presenting their projects from the TSA group. I think one of them is software and one of them is a game. No? We did. Again, the technology is not ready. The code is breaking. But we have so much love from this community, so much support. I know that everyone who presents is going to be so appreciated, and we'll support them however we can. So those are the 3 groups that are presenting today, and I'll hand it back to Josh.
All right, so let's see. So first up, what was the name then of the, who, because I have Kennedy
Tony.
method.
No,
but so
Tony.
they canceled then?
Yes, bot close.
Bot close, okay. Okay, so then we'll have bot close go up first, and then second is going to be tech start?
Yes.
And then last we'll have TSA?
Yes.
Perfect, okay. Thank you. Shout out to Sami for helping co-organize this. I was doing it all by myself, and she, you know, decided, hey, you know, do you need some help? And I'm like, yes. So I'm very disorganized, so I appreciate her. So yeah, let's get you set up here.
Do you have an HDMI?
There's a HDMI right here. Do you have USB-C?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can get you. Give us 1 second. Here, strap that to you, and I'll go grab the
We love technology. We have all of these things. He's going to be testing and setting this up really quickly. But as a quick reminder, it's hard to build stuff. And it's also hard to ask for help. So I'm going to remind all of the presenters to try and think of one way everybody in the room can help them today, whether that's download my app or follow me on LinkedIn. It doesn't have to cost any money. So if you guys can think about that, I do know that we have an amazing community here. All of us will be at some point super successful and looking for others to help support us as well. So every moment of Pay It Forward, we really believe in. Let me hand it over to Tony with bot close.
Woo, Tony!
Let's go.
Thank you, guys. All right, so as she had mentioned today, literally the day when we're testing this before we're gonna go live, code breaks. Gotta love technology when it updates. But essentially, all is well still. I still have versions to show you guys and possibly show you guys a live demonstration, which is what I wanted to show everybody so you guys can interact with it towards the end. Hopefully that's up. But essentially what we've created is, let me ask a question first. How many people here have ever missed a phone call? How many of you have ever had that missed phone call lead to a sale? One guy. Did you have to do the work for it though? What if you could have that completely set up through AI? Right, because I know we talk about AI and the importance of what it does, and I have a good friend that's going to share an amazing technology later, right? And for me, technology is amazing, but if it's not having the human usage on it, then a lot of the times there's no really point to it. So that's why we created something that could be innovative for businesses where they're dealing with a lot of one or two problems, whether they're small, medium-sized businesses, they need an employee to hire, to do outreach, to get leads, or to qualify and close those leads. And one of those two things, if you're wearing all the hats in the business, you understand you don't have enough money to do that. So thankfully with AI, we've now created a product that is a bot, right? Where you can now train it as an employee on your team, right? So there's many use cases that we have where I can show you guys an example of one of my clients using it to actually get missed calls and send out response. So you can actually say you have a lead list of customers that you need to filter through, or you're sending out a promotion, right? Easy, you just feed it to the system. You give it the parameters of what are the incentives, what happens, you know, what can I use? Because most chatbots, because that's the number one question we get is like, well, what's the difference between any other chatbot? And really it's the intuitiveness of seeking past the no that our bot does, right? So it has the human nature of constantly going for the sale. And usually when people say no, there's not a lot of automations that are built up to have a sequence that's creative enough to answer that person's no and make it creative. Well, I know why you're saying no, but if I give you this, would that incentivize you more, right? And most automations aren't built out that robust. So we have the AI to do that for people, to where if you have a lead list that you need to filter out, you're able to do that, which is what we have use cases of people doing it with. And then later on, I'll show you guys another amazing use case of something as simple as posting something on Facebook, and now you have people say, hey, everybody comments a specific thing on Facebook. Now your AI bot has the created action and trigger to now respond on your behalf for your customers. So this is for new people that don't even maybe are in your CRM and your lead system, whatever you're using, right? So the benefit of this technology is, you know, we use a system, right, that is very robust and it saves client data and information, but whatever system you're using, it doesn't necessarily matter, because our bot natively lives on this one that will be kind of shown more so later. But if you have, you know, HubSpot, if you have Salesforce, whatever it is, like we will be able to integrate. And it's not as something as simple as, oh, let's just use a Zapier automation to the back end of ChatGPT. Like I know it you know, it sounds nice and intuitive to do that, but it's a little bit more robust with our tech stack and how we're using it, because we found Zapier's just scalability and what we're use case is not something as efficient as what we're bringing to the market, which is typically what most you know, softwares or bots are using to, you know, plug into technology. So again, whether you have a system that we can plug into, or we have a system that's already created for you where it'll create the bookings on your calendar, it'll close the client for you and create a payment so that you maybe don't even have to sit there and do anything. So you now a missed call can lead into a sale, which is unheard of, right? So this is just an amazing, intuitive thing that I wish, you know, I want to show you guys later when the code's up and working. The example that I was going to show you guys of just commenting is something is powerful on our Facebook page, and putting you guys all into a contest and allowing that to now create something unique for your marketing and how you guys can bring that into your to the market for you guys. So thank you guys for letting me share a little bit of this, and if there's any questions, please feel free.
We will also come, oh yes, we do have questions. Okay, let's take questions now, and then again, if Tony can get his code up again by the end, he'll let us know, and he'll be able to present that afterwards. Got a question over here?
Yeah. Question: how do you explain your bots is probably thing?
And if you can say it into the mic again so that the recording can pick it up. No, no.
Okay, so how does the bot,
How do you explain?
how do we train our bot, right? So essentially like using a system like this where it's a native CRM platform where you already have that client data collected, so it already has all the parameters for the system. Or if you don't know the person, like on the outreach where I was telling you, you've already on the back end, when we're setting it up customized for you, for the business, it's already learned all the parameters, like I said in the beginning, where what are the incentives that you can give it to feed into the person? What are some of the things that if you're hiring a new employee, you're training it, we feed that information to it, and now it's off to the races, and we just kind of let it do what an employee would do as if you hired it. So hopefully that answers that.
I have a question about your timeline. Can you tell us about when you guys created the idea and how long it took to develop it and get to the point where you are today?
Yeah, so our timeline as far as creation to where we are today, this product actually started out as how I started, with just as simple as getting a missed phone call into a calendar booking. But we wanted to really create this as something more robust because that's pretty simple in a sense, and I'd say in the past, so that product was created about 2-3 months ago, and now we've created it to where we've innovated to bot close, where it's more enhanced version of on the outreach, not just on the inbound. And I'd say bot close is about a month old, and we've implemented testing it with certain clients on their business, so that because a lot of them would have a system and it wasn't being used, or people weren't following up with leads, and a lot of it is time to close from the lead comes in. If you immediately can close them, right, then obviously you're going to have those more sales. And that's why we created something like this. And that's where we've seen a lot of the bottlenecks of businesses lie. So that's why we can market with this. So hopefully that answers.
Sorry, I'm going to do one more question. Can you tell us about that moment where you decided we're going to move away from our original product idea and we're going to do this differently?
Yes. I think for me, because I'm not the only creator behind this. I have a developer that obviously we code this, and it is sophisticated, and he was the one that initially had it. Now, when I came in personally, I think it's just my marketing brain is just how it works, and I think I told him it's a great product. I think it just needs to be presented differently, right? And I think a lot of businesses maybe can have that realization because essentially the product does the same thing. Yes, we've enhanced this one a little bit more, but how I'm presenting it to a business and its problems now versus before is where I believe why we're going with this, because I believe every business doesn't have enough money to hire an employee, but now we can train that employee for you versus something that's like me just, hey, you can get the system that can respond to missed calls, right? So I just think the messaging and how we positioned it is a lot more powerful.
Any last questions for bot close? Awesome, thank you so much. I mean, I'm just going to give this back to you. You're going next, Elias.
Give it up to Tony.
Woo!
All right, this one's for you.
Cool. Thank you. Can I also have the other one?
You can have both.
No,
Oh,
no,
this
that one.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
All right, I'm going to do an infinity mirror. Hopefully our friends on YouTube don't mind it, and hopefully y'all don't mind it, and hopefully I don't mind it. We're going to see how this ends up looking. Oh, boy.
Can you just raise your hand
Cool.
if you were in this room for the first session and you've already seen a bid on Elias's company? Just the one?
Oh,
No, couple.
it's not that.
A couple.
Still no
okay.
bueno.
You guys are going to get to see a little bit more deep dive in action
Color
on how he got
LCD.
all of those amazing numbers to be able to track how your
I mean,
business is
it's
doing.
okay. It doesn't need to
what's
look pretty.
You're doing well and what makes you successful.
Necessarily.
And
Let me
what
try
you
my
can go
adapter.
do
Do
more
you
of.
think that would make a difference?
It's not big enough.
I think you fixed it. Thank you. Woo! Thank you so much, Josh. Woo! Give it up for Josh. All right, how much time do I have?
You have 15 minutes to demo stuff and then 5 minutes of Q&A.
Fantastic. Okay, folks, I hope you heard a little bit about my company before, but in case you didn't, my company is techstart.ai. We're a technology implementation company, right? And so we really focus on taking the most advanced tech, making it accessible to everybody, and then bridging the gap in terms of training and in terms of making sure that small business owners, like my parents that I had talked about, like the community that we serve, can be competitive. Because I've been on both sides of the aisle. I've worked for companies like Uber and Instawork that have had billions of dollars invested in into their technology, and I've worked with plenty of mom and pop shops, and I like mom and pop shops a little bit more, and I want to make sure that they can have the best tech available to them as well. And so if you want to jump into this page, I'll just kind of show quickly what our offering is. So we have 2 pieces of software. We have Techie AI. That's what I'm going to demo for y'all today, assuming it doesn't break. Because I totally feel what Tony said. Like, I was demoing this at midnight last night, and it was I was getting this this error code, and so I barely slept fixing that. Hopefully, it's still fixed when I play it in front of y'all. And then we have TechStart's AI CRM, and that is our bread and butter for our business, which is really focused on leveraging AI to in a faster way deploy people's websites and marketing campaigns. And then we have several programs that I talked about earlier today. So I will share a QR code that will give you access to Techie AI here in a second, but let's just go ahead and go through it real quickly. So Techie is your marketing and business sidekick, your AI sidekick. And it's really easy to use. Once you get to this page, we're just going to hit Start Marketing. I'm already logged in, so I'm just going to go through my logins and make sure I have enough credits. Okay, great. By the way, anybody who signs up today is going to get 1,000 free credits so that you can actually play around with this, test it yourself. If you break it, please report it to me so that I can spend another 12, 15 hours trying to fix it. Okay, so this is essentially a prompt library that's just supposed to make it a lot easier for us to interface with ChatGPT. And so we can really just pick any one of these prompts. I think one of my favorites are related to social media, because when I talk to folks, especially small business owners, they're very curious about how to do Instagram marketing. And so who wants to volunteer their business? Leon, all right, would you like to introduce? Let's go through these steps. We're going to describe your brand and offer.
I'm an anime brand that does books, IP, and merchandise.
That publishes books, IP, comma, and merchandise. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. And it's called Dream Anime Team.
Correct.
Merchandise. Okay. I promise he wasn't a plant, even though I knew what he's working on. All right, Dream Anime Team. Okay, great. We'll go ahead and throw that in there. All right, tone of voice. What's the tone of voice that we go for here? You go friendly, you go like...
Fun and exciting.
Fun and exciting. Okay, that's easy enough. So we'll just go ahead and tell it fun and exciting. All right, and then the audience?
People that like mythology and anime.
Ooh, anime and mythology lovers. Okay. Boom. We got that in there. Now, the idea here with Techie AI is that it's supposed to also be a bulk creator. That's a differentiator with ChatGPT. So with an Instagram strategy, we're just going to go ahead and do one. And I don't want to break it in front of y'all. But we can try, if we still have time, to do like 10 blog posts at one time. All right, so here, I'm going to just hit generate now. And now Techie AI is doing this thing, thinking about what your Instagram strategy should look like. And there we have it. And so now we have some suggestions for your Instagram strategy, including the types of photos and videos you should take, some example captions, some possible hashtags, and then it goes even further. Oh, it just repeats itself. Okay, so that wasn't meant to be. But that is essentially the gist of this tool. And where this tool goes next is to integrate directly into our AI-powered CRM. So the vision for next steps here is that we'll go into something called evergreen email marketing, and then maybe somebody else can volunteer. So I'm going to open up email marketing. I'm going to go with the evergreen email newsletter. Who else wants to volunteer their brand? Woo, thank you. Introduce yourself, please.
Andy.
Andy, what's your business name?
Ad Astra Financial Planning.
Say that one more time.
Ad Astra, ADASTRA.
Cool. Financial planning. Awesome. Great. That's your business name. And what's the tone of voice you use when you're communicating to your clients?
I guess also fun and exciting, hopeful.
Fun, exciting, hopeful. And now this is, we're familiar, we're all entrepreneurs, or at least are in this space, and so we should understand unique value proposition and being able to at least say that one thing that differentiates ourselves from our competitors. So what is that unique element for you?
I mostly focus around help people tax efficiently navigate the equity comp, but I specialize in helping people take career breaks.
Ooh, that's interesting. Tax efficiently equity comp?
Pay less in taxes and
and career breaks. Okay. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and put a comma and say pay less in taxes. We all want to pay less in taxes. All right, this time I'm going to hit 3 generations. I'm going to hit 3 generations and see if it will do that. So evergreen email marketing is super powerful because you get to write the emails one time and you get to send them over and over and over again to every single customer or contact you add to your CRM. And so, boom, it happened pretty quickly. So it gave us email, number 1, maximize your wealth and minimize taxes. And it looks like it did not work exactly as I intended it to, but we have 1 email. All right, so this is essentially the gist. Does anybody want to test it for themselves? All right, so to do that, you just got to scan this QR code, and that's something that you can do that would be super helpful to me. If you scan this QR code and you go to this page, it's going to be the techstart.ai page. It's going to give you access to not only Techie AI, but you can also open up our AI-powered CRM. And we have different plans available for folks, including a free trial today. So if you go through that, you'll actually be able to get your own version of a CRM that's tech and AI enabled as well. And the plans here are to integrate these 2 tools so that you can press a button, get your emails generated, and then have your emails pop right into your CRM, and then they're sending. And so if anybody has ever scanned this and booked an appointment with me, after you book an appointment, you get like 3 evergreen emails from me, just introducing, what I'm all about. And I've written those emails like 2 years ago, and they've been sent thousands of times.
QR code. Bring up the QR code again. Thank you.
Cool. Does anybody have any questions, any feedback? Yeah.
Are you using GPT-3 or 4?
I'm using Turbo, which is 3.5, and I want to update it to use 4, and that way it can also I can also provide image generation.
So, are you concerned at all about OpenAI's like native GPTs? Are you like duplicating the features of what you have?
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually developed this product ahead of the GPT store, and when the GPT store came out, I wasn't, afraid like a couple other AI developers. And I'll tell you why. Because the gap of people still not using AI is wide. There's still a blue ocean in folks that are in the digital divide that still don't log into ChatGPT and understand how to prompt correctly, right? And so we're filling that gap, and we're helping business owners who aren't familiar with ChatGPT and AI. And even if it's only for a moment in time right now, we're providing a need, filling a gap, and hopefully getting them into our ecosystem. Got a question in the back?
I have a question about your pricing plan.
Yeah.
I saw there was $100 a month and then also $300 a month. So is there a reason why it's priced that high? Because it's meant for a corporate,
Great question. So Techie AI, the product that I demoed, you can actually try it for free or for up to 1,000 credits. After that, it's $20 a month for, I think, like 10,000 credits, something insane. The other product that you saw is actually our AI-powered CRM, and it does a lot more. If I scroll down, you can see how much more it does. Integrates with your phone systems, does text messaging, email marketing, payment management, reputation management, course hosting, data management. And so, yeah, this requires you to have a business that you're at least making, several thousand a month. But when you have this in place and you're making several thousand a month, this actually becomes responsible for improving efficiencies. Like what I talked about earlier today, you can build automations directly into this platform so you can profit more. If you can't afford this and you want to try it, then I invite you to join our Promise Startups community where we give people sponsorship so that they can still have access to the tech. What else, y'all? Yes?
Was the AI CRM your first product?
No. I don't even remember what my first product is anymore.
What came first, I guess?
Oh, well, yeah, I've been using the CRM and the AI-powered CRM build out first, and then I will sit down with a client and I'll do things like write their business plan, write their email marketing strategy and stuff like that. And so, again, I talked about being close to your community and solving problems for your customers and for yourself. So I was solving a problem for myself because instead of now sitting down and spending hours writing emails, I could just prompt my system to generate the emails and then add them. And once they talk to each other, then that's going to be a lot more seamless as well. So, any other questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about, and I think the Techie AI is a little more clear,
out of it?
You know, honestly, anybody can get a lot of value out of it. You know what I tell the folks over in the digital literacy programming that I do is that your laptop can be your cash register. I mean, it really is. It's your point of sale. And so you just have to learn the fundamentals of how do you create enough value for people, how do you communicate to people at scale, and how do you invoice them and then deliver the product. And the CRM allows you to do all of that.
So you said an entrepreneur already making a few thousand is the type of person who's the best
Who would
fit.
probably be the best fit, because then, you know, they already have a network, they already have an offer that's proven, they've already are used to selling, and so they'll be able to go from a couple thousand to a lot more than that by leveraging these efficiencies.
Can you tell us more about that customer? Like, it's not an enterprise.
No, it's not. No, my customers are, you know, business coaches. They are also serial entrepreneurs. Also, some enterprise clients like healthcare, you know, companies, nonprofits, government agencies, and plenty of solopreneurs.
Do you have any other questions for Elias?
Yeah, please.
Over there.
Jump in over there, and then Josh. Yeah.
Do you have any plans to integrate with like other CRMs like HubSpot or Salesforce?
Not necessarily, because it just doesn't really work with my business model, right? I want them to join my CRM and be part of that monthly recurring revenue for us. So.
You haven't had anyone request to integrate with that?
Oh yeah, we do, and we integrate with other software. To answer that question a little bit differently, we do integrate with any kind of software that is required to integrate with our tool, but we try to avoid duplicity, and our tool is actually a lot cheaper than HubSpot. Yeah, saw a question over here.
Yeah. Whenever you're like producing the output and everything, how does it score with the AI generated detection?
Yeah, really great question, and I'm not sure because I have not tested that.
I know like the straight raw output from all of Jiffy and everything, it scores pretty rough on that.
Yeah, I think it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is going to be like SEO or writing a research paper for college, probably don't use this. But if your goal is to, you know, set up a 90-day or year-long evergreen email marketing campaign that goes out to your clients, this is perfect for that. Yeah.
So I know with the ChatGPT store, it looks like, you know, you're kind of you're banking off of your prompt that you've built, all the prompts that you've done. So what would you say is like what was the most difficult about building this? Was that the prompt engineering that you had to do to get this to work correctly? Or what was the biggest challenge, I guess, that you had in building this?
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, OpenAI constantly is changing their APIs, and so staying on top of that has been an interesting challenge. But you know, having done this, and you know, I've had like 15 beta testers for this specific product, and so what I've realized is that to really solve the problem of my customer, it's not about giving them one prompt. It's not about, hey, do you want to get a billboard ad? Do you want to get an email? It's about, tell us everything about your business, and Techie AI will go and create everything, and then dump all that information into your CRM, and so that hasn't been done yet. So I'd say that's the challenge that, you know, we're working towards overcoming, because that becomes a lot more valuable. Again, a business owner might not know that I need an Instagram strategy, and I need Facebook ads, and I need follow-up emails, and I also need a sales proposal and an offer letter, and I need to understand how that works financially. And then they do that one step at a time, and the whole purpose of this is to save, you know, them a lot of time, to take them 1 to 7 so they could go from 7 to 10.
Can you tell us the 3 features of your technology you use the most and what it looked like before you automated versus after?
Yeah, I definitely use the evergreen email marketing pretty high up there, because again, it's not about, you know, who here knows the importance of sending a newsletter, right? We know that like having an email newsletter is important, or it can be. And if you don't know, it's extremely important to constantly communicate. For any organization that you represent, communication is the measure of your relationship with your customers, investors, stakeholders, right? And so you want to have some level of regular communication cadence. Now, most enterprise companies, like when I was at Uber, we would have a whole team think about every single email that goes out, and it'll be a new piece of email for a new local market every single week. But the small business owners I work with don't have the luxury and the bandwidth to necessarily do that. And so what I really encourage folks to do is think about what is your customer journey like? what are some of the evergreen pain points that folks are going to experience throughout this journey? I'll give you an example. If you had a cleaning business, if you had a wholesome cleaning business, a pain point might be that you want to uncover is don't use bleach. Don't use these harmful toxins in your home. You're going to use these other alternatives. And so for the cleaning company doing evergreen email marketing, I would encourage them to think about what are some of those educational bits that you can share that when I email it to you today or 7 months from now is going to be relevant. Another way to try to explain the evergreen email piece, when we had the Super Bowl, if I wrote down an email and I said, hey, the Super Bowl's in Vegas tomorrow, the only time I can use that email is on Saturday. But if I wrote an email that said the Super Bowl came to Vegas and had a huge impact, I could probably get mileage on that email for the next 1 to 2 years. And so it's not about resending that same email to this customer, this prospect, to that prospect. It's about when I meet you, Sami, for the first time, you've never heard about my stuff. So I'm going to send you that email that tells you why those toxins should be avoided. And then 7 days later, you're going to get another email that's going to be educational another way. But then I meet Josh 2 weeks later, and he's going to start from point 1. And that's how you can communicate over 90 days or a year. And so I say that's one of the most powerful. You talk about my conversion rates being higher than average. I really attribute that to evergreen email marketing because I stay top of mind for 90 days to a year long with my universe. And then the second one I would say is calendar automations because that allows me to do networking at scale and podcasting at scale. And the third one is a good old fashioned be able to invoice and accept a payment because if you can learn how to convert your phone and your computer into a cash register, then you can go to the convention center of where 40 to 50 million visitors come visit us every year and figure out how you can deliver value to the thousands of people that are walking the floor. And if you understand how to do that, like Cyril and I have done in the past, then you could just walk into a convention and walk out having made money.
I actually remember being on a meeting with Elias where he was at a conference and it was going on in the background and we just did 30 minute, like not even 15 minutes because so much was going on and he was making sales on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have time for 1 or 2 more questions. One over here. Any last questions for Elias? Let's go.
Your customers, your users, do you store the responses that they're getting and you build a data model based off of their usage of your platform and then extrapolate more insights into how you can better serve them?
Yeah, super incredible. I'm not doing it in a way that's as sophisticated as you just said it. Yes, of course, we do track all of the data. It stays in a data table, and we can track all credit usage and login usage and all that kind of stuff. But because I've only had 15 serious beta testers with this, I've just spoken to everybody who's used it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right, if we weren't nice enough before, we're going to be super extra duper nice now. Our next presenters, how old are you two?
16.
You're both 16?
I was literally right over here.
We have 16-year-olds. Who have written more code than I have ever successfully deployed.
This is going to be
So
free.
real quick, they're going to ask you to interact second for competition.
Oh, where? Here?
And I think they're going to ask you to fill out rubrics. So be nice, but then also bring them valuable feedback and be critical there because we're competing nationally. So anything there will be really helpful.
So they're going to compete nationally on Monday, is that right?
Yes, we're going to play for states on our state competition is Monday.
State competition is Monday. They would love for you to fill out these rubrics. Where can we find these rubrics?
Okay, so we only have 3 copies, but if you have a piece of paper, please write down the points. We can provide paper if you need it.
I'll give you this. Give them
A little
instructions.
easier, I made a bit.ly, and so bit.ly/demo rubric.
The QR code will be on the slides in a second if you need that too. Raise your hand if you want a paper copy, just to write it down.
Well,
No?
QR, we love technology.
It's just a rubric. It's not a form. It's just the rubric, what it looks like. Alright. Here. You do it on paper, though. I give you paper. All right, what happened? It's time to die.
I'll have a form in a few minutes for you all to submit the scores.
You each need one of these. This is for the recording, and then that is for the speaker.
Okay, so we'll give them a minute and let me just look over the script again.
So I'm going to clip you in.
Okay.
You got connected the dots. This is not a form. This is a rubric, and a form is being made.
Yes, this is just a rubric so that you have in mind as you're listening to us what we're looking for, what we need to do. The form will be coming afterwards. Sorry for the confusion. If you guys are ready, we would like to start, by the way. So anyone else need the form real quick? Or the little rubric? No? Okay.
All right. So hi, I'm Travis Hunsaker.
I'm Saanvi Veduru. So during CCSD, currently counselors are facing a problem where courses are being overfilled or underfilled, and they're not being spread, and students are not being spread evenly between class periods and teachers. So we decided that we want to help them out, and then we want to solve this because this is a real problem at our school, and we're a small school. So imagine the big schools.
Yeah. So our project uses Java and JavaFX for UI, and we built it in IntelliJ and used Scene Builder to compile everything. But before we started out, we had to make we had to split the project into a few basic pieces, such as overall courses, rebalancing, file reading and writing, and then the UI.
Okay, but before we could even start coding and programming, before we could even start coding and programming, we actually had to plan this out, and we had to write everything, so that way all the members of our team would know what to do. Because we actually used to be a 4-person team, but we're the only 2 going to TSA.
Yeah. So here is one of our design boards. In total, these design boards, we have 2 of them. Each design, the 2 design boards total took 3 class periods, which each class period is an hour and a half long. So we took a lot of planning into it, but it was useful because then we would know how to be keeping on track and what snippets of code we needed to write. And we started with the classes that were required. We have the teacher, transcript, students, file, schedule, and course.
Okay, so adding to Travis, after laying out all the classes, we looked at what are the relationships between each class, who influences what. So we have the student has a transcript and schedule, the transcript has a schedule has courses, and teacher has courses. And then the courses obviously have students. So that was our hierarchy, and you can see over there in the corner, that is the green. Yep. So once we had everything written down, that's when we could actually begin coding. It was a difficult process, but we got through it. Here we defined all of our methods. We have our method names, our parameters, we have our return types, and this actually made it so much easier and quicker to actually write everything down and actually get this done during school hours, essentially.
And now we have, please.
No.
Come on, there we go. There we go. All right, so now we have the actual rebalancing part, because the rebalancing is pretty hard. That's why the school doesn't even have it yet. So we separated it into 2 different types, by period and by schedule. So by period was pretty easy. We just took all the students out of the classes and then just put them all back in procedurally, so each class would have the same amount of students. And this was done for every class of every name, elective, and period. Those were all separated. And then by schedule was the part that we're really worried about, because it can result in an infinite loop. Now, by schedule, you would switch the classes. So say you have Algebra 2, and that class is super full. We can't put any more kids in, but we have a second Algebra 2 class in, say, period 3. The first one was in period 1. And so we want to move some kids from period 1, Algebra 2 to period 3. But on each of those students' schedules, they have a class, English 10. So now these students have a scheduling error where they both have Algebra 2 and English 10 on the same period. Now, how do we combat this? Well, we had to find another English 10 of a different period to essentially just swap it out. But the thing we're worried about is that the thing we're worried about is that it would eventually have the English side be unbalanced. So then it would run it again, and it would switch it back to the Algebra 2, and it would just keep going back and forth, resulting in an infinite loop breaking the code. So what we did to combat this is have a catch limit. Now this catch limit will stop the code from running when it hits the certain number. Now, if it goes over, it still hits it, it's fine, but then it just stops the rebalancing part and it just lets the code run still. It will also give an error message if it doesn't work. And then we will also have a range, which is at the top there, if you can't see it. Basically, this range would be a plus or minus little thing. So if you have 2 courses with like almost the same amount of students, it wouldn't rebalance the entire thing. It wouldn't rebalance the entire thing. So it would make the code just run a little bit faster.
Okay, so after all of this planning, that's when we actually started working. So mind you that this project started about mid-September, and then, so from there, right, we started working, we started dividing up the work. So at first, we all had our separate tasks, and we all worked individually as a group of 4, right? But then we ran into some issues. We had daily Scrum meetings, and then during Scrum meetings, those issues, we kind of solved them during those meetings itself, or like during class time. But there was a few issues that could not be solved within the span of 20 minutes. So one of our really major issues was our file got deleted one day. Yeah. Everything. But thankfully, one of our team members had the hindsight to make backup versions and save them incrementally. So that way we actually had some backup in case we lost all our progress. Because we were working on school computers shared by the entire school.
Yeah.
Not very good infrastructure on that.
That was not very fun. But we were making good use of our time, and we still had run into some problems. I mean, but because we had all of these separate files, no one had everything. So we had one person who had some methods, like say, so one person had courses and teachers, and another person had schedules and students, and we had to like combine those 2 together. So we missed an entire class period just making sure that everything was moved over correctly and would work.
Okay, so that actually happened with me. So basically, one problem I had, so I was originally the first person working on the rebalancing system by myself. So I had an old copy of the file, and I was coding it at home, and I was doing the best I could. But then when it came to finally take my code and integrate it with the main file, it didn't work because the main file was updated to newer versions and everything was changed. Because obviously, versions kind of change as they go on. And since this is an active file, yeah, that did not work out. So I kind of lost a month of progress on that. Yeah. Amazing. So honestly, the final really major issue we had was recently. So our 4th team member, so they were working on the UI and like the UI code in JavaFX. And so they actually couldn't finish their code in time for our competition on Monday. So Travis actually had to step in, and he did an amazing job. Me and him, we worked on designing the UI, coding it, and we actually got it working by last night.
Yeah.
I have not slept in days. We stayed up until midnight.
But as we were going on, the code was being more fleshed out, and the finish line was in sight. But as we kept moving on with the code, we found some bugs. So these range from simple bugs like the students not being able to student not being able to see the actual scheduled courses when you put in the actual schedule. Something like this was a pretty easy fix, but then we had another problem. Now, when we replaced the courses on the UI, which I will show you in a second, it was just changing the name. So the student would not actually recognize the new course as part of their classes. And we had no idea how to fix this. But we eventually found that we could get the students from the get table row method, and it was just simple from there. We just put it into the creation method, and it works.
All right. So again, after all of that, we finished. It's done. So last night we got it done. So right now Travis is going to load a pre-made file to give you all a demonstration, and then we will actually let you guys try to be students and teachers yourselves, and we'll add you and see how it works. Because we're in the bug testing phase, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Okay, Travis, do your thing.
So now for this one, we have 1,500 students, all called Bob. All right. Bob really wants, all of these Bobs really want to take AP US History. So as of right now, they all have period 1 AP US History.
They don't know what they're doing.
Don't do it.
Not worth it.
But does anyone in here, by show of hands, anyone want to rebalance all these classes by hand?
Also,
no.
In this
Don't push your
scenario,
hand.
right?
Push it.
Imagine you are our counselors. You have school year starts the next morning. You have to balance out like 1,800 students, I think we have in our school, and you have to do all of that by next morning. So are you going to do all of that and sleep? No.
So by the click of this simple button in about 30 seconds, because the laptop's slow, but it will rebalance it automatically by using the same method that we had before. It's not responding, but that's fine. I mean,
That's a part of it.
It's a feature. Give it a second. It's taking a little bit.
Don't worry, we got the timer over there. We can actually see how long this takes on a normal
Well,
laptop.
yeah, it rebalances it. So
Yeah.
now every single AP US History class for all 1,500 Bobs has about the same amount of students in it. So it works. This was a struggle.
So, from here, who's ready to be a student or a teacher? Okay, so Travis is going to load the user essentially manual file. So by show of hands, how many of you actually want to put your names and stuff in this? Go. Hey, we got takers. Okay, so I'm going to start from by row essentially. So first of all, let's load that up. Okay, so Sony, right? Sami, I'm so sorry.
Great. What else do you need? You need our name and...
Okay, in this case, first of all, do you want to be a student or a teacher?
Student.
Student.
You're a
Okay.
student. Okay, so spell your name out real quick.
S-A-M-I.
S-A-M-I. And then age, we'll just put you as a high school age. Age does actually not matter for this. It's just the grade that matters. So what grade are you in high school?
He wrote 16, so is that junior year? Junior year.
Oh.
Yeah, about junior, sophomore.
All right.
Okay.
So now if we add it, now we see Sammy's on here. Yay!
Okay, our next student.
Can we have a teacher, please, actually? Teacher?
Yeah.
What is your name?
Chris.
Chris? C-H-R-I-S, right?
Regular way,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just add you.
All right.
Okay, we want to add, let's add about 4 more students.
Don't you have to have a subject for the teacher?
Oh, we'll add that in a second. Real quick.
The courses.
Fred?
Fred?
Yes. You are our next student. We're going to put you as a senior. All right. You?
Allen, A-L-L-A-N.
Okay, A-double-A. Okay, so put in Fred.
Fred's on there.
Okay.
All right.
How old are you?
Or how old are you?
14.
14.
You're a freshman?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not? Okay, I really thought you
want to
were.
be it.
Ross, a teacher.
Ross, the teacher. All right.
Okay. You?
I am Sam. I'm a science teacher.
Sam, a science teacher.
Sam.
And then, yeah, let's have 2 more students. Oh, you in the back?
Oh, I'm Donald.
Donald as a student?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Donald. Here, let's make him a sophomore. We haven't had a sophomore yet.
And it has
Yeah.
All right.
Make him 10. Okay, so I think that's actually enough for our test subject. We can actually add a bit more. But, okay, let's add some courses.
All right. What classes do you guys want to take?
So,
Math. Okay, what kind of math?
Algebra.
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 All right.
Okay, Algebra 1. Ronan? Calculus BC. No, you don't.
No, calc is fun.
Not for me. Oh, you?
Teacher Ross Forensics.
Forensics. Oh, I think we used to have that at ATech. I'm pretty sure we did. Real quick, who are other teachers real quick? Okay.
Computer science.
Computer science. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll put you down for computer science 3. 4. You want to be advanced studies? Okay.
He only wants to teach seniors. He doesn't want to teach any of us freshmen.
You don't want to deal with the middle schoolers? All right. So far, do that. Okay, so how many do you have left real quick?
I only have 2.
Forensics.
I can't spell, guys. Come on.
It's okay. Okay, so we got forensics, algebra. Who are the other ones? We had computer science, advanced studies.
Hey, can I get like mermaid dancing? Is that
I'm taking that class.
Clearly a trade school.
I don't have that one, data structures and algorithms. I'll go with that one.
Mr. Davison, do we actually have that? I think that, would that be data structures and algorithms? Which class covers that?
One more time.
Data structures and algorithms. Which class covers that? I think it's the college one, right? The one where it's like the mixed one?
So it depends on what kind you're talking about. So we get into, my advanced students get into hash maps and things like that. But in general, data structures using arrays, array lists, yeah, those basic ones. But we are computer science, computer applications and software development is a course that's being added to the district, and so, but these are my advanced students. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. I don't hear mermaid dancing on there. So that's
I know. I wish we had it. I wish we had it.
Only in public high schools.
All right. So.
Is it supposed to have on the teacher's page? One teacher's teaching 2 subjects. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
So when we create the subjects, the individual course has a subject. So like a teacher, like I have a history teacher who also teaches like music. So
yeah.
it's
Mr.
just
Davison
individual courses.
teaches. So Mr. Davison teaches Game Dev 3, Computer Science 3 honors, and AP Computer Science. And we have a bunch of teachers who just teach multiple courses, but only some periods have that course. And that's actually a pretty common thing within schools and high schools and middle schools too.
All right. So, Sammy, you said you wanted to take mermaid dancing. Yeah. All right.
Well, let's assign people a schedule and let's just overfill a couple of them.
Alan, you have algebra. Donald, you'll have forensics. And Fred, do we have a 4th period? We do not. We have a 5th period though. Computer science 3. All right.
And right now you're only seeing this with 1 class per person or 1 class essentially per period. Imagine that once we have like all 200 possible courses we have in like the school district.
Yeah.
So imagine that a lot bigger. We can't do that right now because we don't have
I'm
the
not
time.
going to put that in. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
You don't have the time right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. For this demonstration, we can only put a few in.
But let's save our changes and let's close it and let's try reopening it and see if the changes have saved.
Bug fixes, everybody.
If they don't, then
Interesting.
yay!
Yay! It works.
So the file writing and reading and writing works. We can save changes. We can rebalance it. We can add students, add teachers, add courses, and yeah, I think it solves the problem.
Okay, so any questions for us? Like any? Okay, let's go. You right there.
So, are you guys using a database or anything?
Question was, are we using a database? And kind of, we're using a CSS file, just to like store all of it.
It's just like a flat file.
Yeah, it's just a flat text file.
And were you using Git or GitHub when you were sharing?
No.
No, actually, okay, so IntelliJ has this really cool feature called Code With Me. So we all worked on the same file at the same time after we found out we could do that.
Yeah.
But before that, Mr. Davison did actually ask us to make a GitHub file, and we did have a GitHub file and a GitHub repository in the beginning.
In the school district right now, GitHub is not approved for student usage. It is in the process of being approved, but
CCSD doesn't like us doing anything. Our Chromebooks are bricked. They're not.
I have one more question, sorry. Why did you choose Java and JavaFX?
The question was why do you choose Java? It's because we're learning it in the class. And
Okay, so the reason this project was actually started was because we had to prepare for the computer science exam, the AP exam in like May. So in order to do that, it's only in Java. So we had an option of either doing CodeHS or like CodeChef for our practices, or we could make a software. And we want to make a software, and we want to make it useful and help people. So, and next questions?
So, sorry.
Yeah, I can open it.
I'm just going to give everyone a number. If you have a question, please everyone raise their hand. This will be our final question round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Oh, Jaden?
Yeah.
Okay.
6. There's 6 questions.
Okay, question number 1.
Do you
that's
have any
me.
plans to
Personal.
secure it so it can't be reverse engineered or anything?
Yes, most likely.
I don't know how to do that.
Do we have any plans to protect it from for being reverse engineered? Yeah, most likely. If this were to become an actual project that we can actually give out to people, then yes, we would have to do that.
Oh, this is the form for like score and stuff.
Just submit your scores.
Yeah.
Oh, please do. We need your
Please.
help. Question number 2.
I have a list of feedback.
All right.
Offline it, like,
Oh, yeah, you can just, in the form, does it have like a section for that?
I added it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, just put it in the form
Just
for
put in
now.
the form.
Question number 3.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you using any random numbers in your code?
Random numbers, we have used random numbers, but not in the code right now. We have used random numbers to generate like a lot of test cases. We have tested the rebalancing and the file writing with 44,000 students and 1,800 courses, and it worked. So I'm pretty sure that's like robust enough. But yeah.
And again, please keep in mind that this program is meant for in one school. Essentially, one school will have the program. This is not meant to handle the entire school district at once, just one school at once. Question number 3, I believe we're on? Or is it 4?
it was 4, I think it was.
4.
All right, just because your teacher is here, you can get some points. What is the time complexity of the algorithm?
Time complexity. Travis, you answer this.
There we go.
Could you like what do you mean by time complexity? Like
Okay, real quick. That's actually a very good question.
could you repeat it?
Okay, so how does our program handle second lunch and first lunch? Basically, how does it handle either open periods or non-class based periods? It actually just puts them in as like null, or it just puts them in as the actual thing?
It just doesn't show. So like we have a ton of open periods, and then first lunch and second lunch. I don't know how other schools do it, but our school does by class period. So if your room is in like within these numbers, then you have first lunch and you have second lunch.
And then like the odd amount of hundreds, it'll be like first lunch, and if it ends in even amounts of hundreds,
That's actually literally exactly how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then open periods will just be open periods. They'll just put null, because that's how it normally does in schedules anyway.
Yeah.
Question number 5, I think we're on.
Over there.
Yeah, C6. You
So
go ahead.
far. When you guys consider a database, are you thinking about MongoDB, which is free, which has like some Lambda type functions now? Are you actually thinking about anything along those lines? I see it says file is not going to last as long.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we thinking, when we use a database, are we thinking of MongoDB, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mondo.
Mongo.
Oh, MongoDB, sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into that yet.
Yeah, but that's actually the first time we've heard of that, but we will look into it, because mainly for databasing, I actually asked my dad. He works in the industry. He makes databases as a living, so he recommended just having it export into like an Excel file essentially, and just have it like that. Because apparently he doesn't think that like it is not that like serious. I do not trust that. But again,
No SQL. And it will give you back your results quite quickly.
yeah, SQL Server. That's something I'm looking into. I am learning that on the side, and I will consider using SQL Server for the database once like this actually becomes a real software.
Yeah, but we're not touching this until States is done.
Yeah. So Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday's good.
All right, and question number 6.
Question number 6, Jaden.
Did you guys plan on like making it like an official like product where people can buy it?
Yes, actually. So we actually have a working name and logo. We're calling this Course Companion. Thank you. I came up with it.
Yeah, graphics design student.
Yeah. I designed the UI. I made the colors as well. That was the image of like, there was like a blue box and a bunch of blue boxes. That was my Illustrator file.
So on the database side, that is something, if anyone has that experience who can help them, then
Oh, please.
that would be great if you want to put in your email in that form and let them know that you would like to help mentor them on that. That'd be great. Like I said, computer applications and software is a new course coming to the district in the next year or two. And so myself, I'm still learning it, and so I'm also looking for anyone who wants to help me. I've never studied it. I studied basically while teaching. And so looking for how can I continue helping the students get even further, better, incorporating everything there.
Where's your school?
And it's A-Tech. It's about a couple miles from here.
Advanced Technologies Academy.
Yeah.
I love the volunteers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, real quick.
Travis, you put the QR code back up?
Oh, yeah.
So again, you can skip the scores if you just want to add feedback or put in that you want to participate, mentor, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, even if we don't win states or go to nationals for this, we would still like to actually get this product off the ground, because I feel like this could actually help the school district and even either locally within Nevada or even nationally, because honestly, we need this. So, because if you've ever seen Infinite Campus, if you guys have kids or you used Infinite Campus in the past, it is absolute garbage. The UI looks terrible, it works terribly, and it crashes so often. It is garbage. We could be better.
If you could all join me in giving them a huge round of applause.
We did it. Yep.
Yeah, you're all good. Okay. So if that wasn't one of the best demos I've ever seen here, it didn't break. They explained everything from the logic that they were trying to create, the planning process, the code. Then we got a live demo. Doesn't that just bring you so much energy? So one of the things you will notice is, in general, we give 15 minutes for this, right? And their competition setup was supposed to be a 7-minute presentation with 3 minutes Q&A. When you build something amazing and people get to have fun putting their mermaid dancing courses inside of it, that's what gets you traction. If that has not inspired you to understand you can build anything, you can be anything, you can achieve anything, and you can have fun doing it, that's the whole point of this. And we can learn from anyone, including 2 16-year-old students from a great school here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are over time because I know better than to stop people when we're having fun. So the next session is going to start in just about 10 minutes, and we do need to vacate for that. But I want to invite everybody to come reach out to any of the presenters today. I think Tony stepped out. No, okay. Tony, one quick question. How can people help get you traction and move things forward for you today?
Just visit botclose.com.
Botclose.com for Tony. Help support him. Elias, is the thing that we can do for you to scan that QR code and start working with your technology for free?
Yep.
Awesome. If anyone needs that QR code, please come find Elias afterwards. And then anything else we can do for you students. Fantastic job.
Just look at the rubric, fill out the form, that's all we do.
Do the rubric, and then if you want to help mentor them, please do that as well. Thank you all so much for coming today. If you would like to demo in the future, please reach out to me or Josh.
Yeah, my card's there at the front. Just take a picture of it. I only brought one, so but yeah. Or go to phpvegas.com and there's this form there to submit for demo time. So thanks again. We have about actually 20 minutes. So if you want to chit chat for a little bit before we get started, I'll get it done. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.